This Christian says God is only love, never judgment. Watch me decimate this argument to pieces.
Quran, like many religious doctrines, talks about the idea of a punishing God. Quran, like many religious doctrines, talks about the idea of a punishing God and the idea of punishment of humans and judgment in a negative sense.
Quran 17:70, we have certainly honored the children of Adam, as in mankind. And apparently honor is not loving. Chapter 7, 156, my mercy encompasses all things. He doesn't love anyone. Chapter 11, verse 119, except those upon whom your Lord has mercy, and for that he created them. He created us because he is merciful. We're not off to a good start, bro.
All of that information is representative of the human filtering process based on its understanding at the time of receiving information. Therefore, it's a misinterpretation.
Okay, so let's just get one thing straight. A God that holds you accountable, a God that tells you that you need to strive and you need to be a good person, you need to uphold integrity, honesty, you need to be a righteous person, is apparently a bad interpretation of God, because God is supposed to be all-loving. Let me give you an analogy, okay? Let's say someone killed your loved ones, okay? Eviscerated them. Let's say you're someone who lived in Palestine and someone bombed your entire family and killed them. And on the day of judgment, that person just walks straight into the front door of the heaven and walks straight into the Garden of Eden. Why? Because he believed in Jesus and there is no accountability, because his sins of bombing those innocent people, killing the people you loved, there's no repercussions for that.
Bruh.
Because Jesus already paid for that sin.
Bruh.
If you understand that God does not judge, does not punish, but is unconditional love, then you will have the core essential filtering system by which to separate the original information in its raw form and the human interpretation that may have come through belief systems, even if the interpreter didn't realize that that's what was happening.
Due to free will, humans have two intrinsic qualities: being evil and being good. But being evil is made to seem attractive to you by your friend, which in Arabic we call them shaitan. You know how I know? Look at this verse. Surah An-Nas 16:63. By Allah, we certainly sent messengers to nations before you, but shaitan made their deeds seem attractive to them. Now, let's just get one thing straight. Which one is more attractive to someone who has free will and can do bad and do good, but bad seems more attractive to them? Is it easier to assume that God is all loving and will not hold you accountable regardless of what you do? Or is it more attractive to know that God will hold you accountable? That is particularly why he sent us to earth. He sent our parents Adam and Eve to earth because of disobedience, so he can teach them obedience. Which one is more attractive? One that holds you accountable and requires you to be a good person, learn obedience, or one that says you can do whatever you want? There is no repercussion. Which one is shaitan making more attractive? Which one is more attractive to a human's free will?
So anything that smacks of judgment in a negative sense and punishment is not directly from God, but a human interpretation of the idea that you judge yourselves, that you weigh yourselves in terms of what it is you believe you are or are not in alignment with when it comes to the vibration of unconditional love.
Humans don't judge themselves. You sitting here arguing against accountability proves that point. You just destroyed your own argument. Humans don't judge themselves. God is the one who judges. Humans don't want accountability. You sitting here preaching against the fact that God will hold you accountable proves that point.
You are the judges. You are the punishers. But humans tend to avoid looking at themselves that way. So they assign it to the idea of God, which is not God, except as the human expression of God, with its foibles and fallibles and interpretive fear-based belief systems.
Just to put this fella's argument into perspective, I want you guys to just imagine a world without a law system. The strong can walk around killing the weak. The elderly and the weak will be exploited. I want you to imagine a world where there is no justice, because judgment is required to enforce justice, to differentiate between good and bad. Imagine a world that that concept doesn't exist and people can do as they please. Rape, murder, all of these become one common thing that you will see on daily life if there is no enforcement, if there is no judgment to actually enforce the opposite.
which is also part of God. But you have to understand that it is the interpretation coming through it. So anything that smacks of punishment and judgment is not the, shall we say, purest form of the idea of unconditional love that is the vibration of existence itself, which means it is the vibration of what you call God, or Allah, or Jehovah, or Wavoka, or whatever you want to call it, because God doesn't care what you call it, because God is everything and anything you can make up as a name to call it is fine, because all things are God, and there's nothing outside of it.
If God never judges, never punishes, then the man who raped a child, and the dictator who genocided a nation, the abuser who tortured his family, all of them would get the same eternity as the victims. No accountability. Never. And again, that is not love. That's the most pro-oppressor theology ever invented. And what did he say in the beginning? That it's possible that mankind have invented the fact that God will hold you accountable? So tell me, who would appreciate Christianity more? An oppressor or a victim that is oppressed? Think about that.